Vanessa Panes, thank you very much. You have a presentation for us. You're the founder
Yes.
of Singles Events Manila, and you're bringing once again the international and diaspora, in fact, the premium international dating perspective here, because it's cross pollination. So I will
Mhm.
hand off to you and let you do your presentation. Thank you very much for your time today. And
Thank
again,
you, Mark.
put the questions up there, and we'll do a Q&A session at the end. Thank you.
Yes, happy to hear questions from our audience today. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Quickly, we'll briefly share with you a little bit about our part of the world. I am located now in the Philippines. It's 3 a.m., but it's such a pleasure to be here and share with you a little bit about what is going on with dating in the Philippines and how this affects you, even if you're in the West or other parts of the world. Okay. So, very quickly, let me just ask you this question. How many of you know at least of one Filipino who married a citizen of your country? Do you have, especially the ones who are from the US or parts of Europe? Like, I'm sure that you've heard of like one fellow or colleague who married to a Filipina or a Filipino, right? But primarily the focus of my presentation will be interracial and intercultural dating between Filipina, woman coming from the Philippines, and men coming from the West. Okay, my wife is a part Filipina, according to Hanta, for sure. Yeah, I think I you told us about it the last time. Thank you for sharing, Hunt. I'd like to answer this question because I often receive this. And right now, even up to this point, I'm still shocked why there are a lot of foreign men who are coming to the Philippines looking for a wife. So I would like to share a little bit about the dating culture here and for matchmakers, of course, like areas for collaborations for us. And of course, even the ones who are in the tech industry, I hope you will find this presentation useful. So a little bit about me. I just copied the description that I have during the Global Love Conference in London. I'm Vanessa Antonio. I'm known in the Philippines as Coach V, or the Love Guru. I took my certification in matchmaking. Okay. Thank you, Rada. I took certification in matchmaking back in 2019, and that really helped me a lot launch my career. Because of the certification, I got recognized in my own country. And so I thought, instead of staying in the United States, why don't I come to the Philippines, where matchmaking is unheard of for most Filipinos. Right now, besides running my company called Singles Events Manila, I also do a TV and radio show for love and relationship, like orienting and educating Filipinos about matchmaking and dating in a way that, they're more intentional and a little bit on the science side of it. So basically, our company is focused on used to just launch dating events and workshops. I identify with some of our colleagues' goal here, which is to help people become good in social skills. So we do a lot of trainings as well. And then we launch dating events because I feel like instead of them going out every weekend, why don't you just go in one event wherein you don't have to ask if somebody's single, because if it's a dating event, you get to meet like 30 people in one go, 50 people in one go, instead of going out every weekend, right? And we also offer matchmaking service. Our specialization is connecting Filipinas with non-Filipinos. So most of our clients are Americans and Europeans. And one of our premise would be we only connect Filipinas who are not only beautiful but successful, because we want to be able to shift that perspective wherein, Filipinas would date foreign men because of financial or status reason. So some of our Filipina clients sometimes like earn more than our foreign clients. So we just connect people who are both successful and are genuinely looking for love. So when I'm not matchmaking, I'm working for and I'm training law. I do workshops and trainings on open source intelligence. That's basically just a fancy way of teaching people how to scour the internet for information. So I use that skill to do background checks on my clients and their potential matches. I'm also going to prisons to interview terrorists. So this is what I do for a living as well when I'm not doing matchmaking. So my niche is matchmaking and security. But personally, I'm coming from a very intercultural background. My mom is a Filipina, my dad is Sri Lankan. My grandma married somebody from Hong Kong, so I don't know my genetics already, but I have been exposed to different cultural background besides from birth, no, besides working in the United States and traveling as well. Okay, so may I know who among you have not heard of the Philippines before? So this is what our map looks like. We are a very archipelagic country. We have about 116 million. And to give you, we have 7,000 small islands. So that's a lot of islands. And our capital is called Manila. It's the most densely populated cities in the world. And to give you an idea on how small our country is, just imagine California. So it's as big as California. And I put some figures at the bottom because I'd like to share with you and I would like you to imagine how small the Philippines compared to the whole of the United States. I do believe in the United States right now you have about 331 million. So in that small land area that we have, 300K, we have about 116 million people. So we are very like dense country, a lot of people. And for those who have not heard of the Philippines, we used to be known as the world's texting capital. We like to text a lot. Foreigners come to the Philippines for our beaches. I think we were part of the seven wonders in the world, one of our beaches. And then they said we're one of the friendliest countries in the world because we're always smiling, even if there's a lot of natural disasters already. And it's both funny and sad that when there are, and in the past few weeks we have had at least three typhoons already, and some of the floods sometimes go over the roof of houses here, but you would still see on the media Filipinos would still be like laughing and smiling, which is kind of weird, right? But like that's like, I don't know where that is coming from, but there's just a lot of like smiles here, and I hope that you get to visit if you have not been here. And also, a lot of businesses here. You've seen some of the biggest brands as well coming here and starting or expanding their business here as well. Okay, so let's talk about very quickly business. Why Philippines? The Philippines was actually ranked among the top 10 countries with the fastest growing user base on dating apps. So if you are on dating apps or you're developing dating apps, you might want to consider the Philippines because even if we are a very small country, we have one of the highest penetration rate in the world. So it's at 73.6. So we really love our internet. We really want to be active online. And being a country dubbed to be, the texting capital of the world, you could just imagine us being on our phones. We love connecting with people. Half of the Filipinos have used online dating apps. The online dating app market in the Philippines also is projected to reach 2.93 million US dollars in 2024. And 99% of Filipino internet users are very active on social media. We used to be like the social media capital as well at one point. And 84% of the internet traffic in the Philippines goes toward e-commerce. So we love online shopping as well. And again, if you're planning to do business, you are welcome to come to the Philippines because according to IMF and HSBC in 2025 and 2026, we expect the Philippines will be the second fastest growing economy in ASEAN and the third fastest in the whole of Asia. And in the next 5 years, we believe that the Philippines also could become the ASEAN's leading performer growth, averaging 6.5% prior to the pandemic. Now, of course, the most important question of the night, for me at least, why the Philippines for love? And I have a very simple answer for that. Simply because we love you. And let me share why I said this. So, Philippines have a long history with the United States, and we also have strong political ties with your country. I personally have served the Department of Justice in the United States as well, even if I'm a Filipina. And I would say, like most people here, have a natural admiration for Western culture. It's just that we admire you, even despite the history that we have. No, it wasn't so positive at the beginning because of the colonization, but right now we're looking ourselves as baby America. Like we want to be baby America. That's like how I feel when we are in the Philippines. So there's a positive association and perceived social prestige that we have. That's why of the Western culture. That's why interracial relationship. And I understand that there are also colleagues here coming from different parts of the world. So I apologize if I'm focusing on the Western culture just for this presentation. So to prove this is actually as of 2020. We've had more recent data, and I promise you, in the more recent data, the one in 2022 has actually higher numbers. Filipinos have married Americans the most of all other nations in the world. So I hope that by this time you already believe me that we love you. There's just that natural bond that I will not be able to fully answer why, right? But looking at this one, top 10 nationalities of foreign spouses and partners of Filipinos. Look at the difference between American and Japanese. Like literally, there's 100,000 of marriages and people in a relationship with Americans, and then the gap between like being married to Japanese and Australian, South Korean is big. But this is just for FYI. And not only that, we have also sent almost 50% of our overseas Filipino workers to that part of the world. So just imagine the desire of not only like having a natural admiration, but like sometimes a lot when you talk to Filipinos, many of them, one of their dreams is to be in America and to work in America or to study in America. So it's just that's why when I speak with my clients from the West, like I would always tell them like if you come here, like you would have a good experience because the moment that you come down of the airplane, like you'll already be welcome with with smiles. And us Filipinos, we're usually like we have tan colors, so you know what they say, right? You like what you don't have. And so when they see people from the West, like they automatically say, oh, guapo. Guapo is like handsome. So that's just that natural admiration. And not only for men, but also for women. We find your women very beautiful as well. But it wasn't always like that. There was this resistance before to be even affiliated with the Western culture in the past. So previously, relationships with foreigners, not only from the West, have faced skepticism with concerns about the authenticity and the intentions of foreign men. So Filipinas weren't as open as we are right now. So these are just some of the references that you would hear from parents, grandparents before when a Filipina is dating like a foreign man. Like, for example, you will not get along well because of cultural difference. They may not have serious intentions. They will only use you and leave you. This is actually the worst. And this one, you will be hungry there because they only eat bread and they don't eat rice. There's a lot of stereotyping as well. So these were just some of the references that our grandparents and parents would tell us before. But thank God we had the shift. So, from cultural hesitation to increasing acceptance, the foreign partners are now even seen as desirable. So, not only that we accept you, there's actually this trend wherein there is a preference towards having a foreign mate than marrying our own race, right? So number one, the online dating has helped. It has removed barriers to cross-cultural relationships as it did in other cultures. There's also a growing expatriate community in the Philippines. So this contributed to the trend. The more that we get exposed to your culture, it's like near exposure effect, right? The more we get used to it and you appreciate it. And number three, there's an increasing prevalence of interracial marriages, I believe, not only in the Philippines, but also in other parts of the world. So I'd like to share with you two concepts tonight. It's a Filipino concept, but it's related to dating. And if you ever travel to the Philippines or if you have clients traveling to the Philippines, please, please, please let them know of these two terms. These are crucial. And what are these two terms? Maybe before I define what an AFAM is, I will give you an idea. So these are screenshots that I receive like almost on a daily basis. I'm always asked to find an AFAM for them. And later I will define what AFAM means. Okay. So this one, it says, Coach B, find me an AFAM. Chat here. Find me an AFAM coach. It's like literally always asking me to find them AFAM. When is your next singles events that there are AFAM, please? And then thank you. I want to have kids with AFAM because the kids will be mixed and they will be beautiful. All these types of messages. And then another one says, oh, I'm finally allowing myself to date an AFAM. So there's just this AFAM craze that's happening in our part of the world. But what is an AFAM? Literally, it stands for a foreigner assigned in Manila. That's what AFAM means. But it's a slang that's often used to describe foreigners. So whether you are assigned in Manila or you're just there as a tourist, like it started as a gay lingo. So gays started this term and now women use this term as well. So a femme is a term that we use to describe a good-looking foreigner in the Philippines. So basically that's it. So everybody is an afam as long as they're good looking and they're foreigner. So if your clients come to the Philippines, like they will not be called like, hey, AFAM, like nobody will do that. AFAM is like a term that is being used only within Filipinos without informing the foreigners, right? So I'm sharing this to you so that your clients will be aware. And usually they use this term kind of like particularly to white or Western men. So that's been how it has been used in the past. So there is a rise of a fam era in the Philippines right now, since I'm talking about idiosyncrasies and what's the dating status right now in the Philippines. So relationships between Filipinas and foreign men are on the rise, with 30% of Filipina singles at least stating that they're open to date foreigners. Previously viewed with skepticism, cross cultural relationships have gained acceptance, partly because of greater economic opportunities and the allure of Western romantic gestures. It's no secret anymore that the perceived prestige or perceived higher economic status of foreigner is one of the pull factors why Filipinas will be open to be dating foreigners. So the second term, which is a more important term, if you have clients who is dating like a Filipina or will date a Filipina in the future, is the term ligaw, or that translates to the word courting or wooing. This is basically the time wherein the man will prove their sincerity, their intention, their desire to be in a relationship with her. And by the way, when you come to the Philippines, there's different types of women. And the women that I'm talking about in this presentation are women who are dating for marriage, since this is our focus, and that these are the types of clients that we work with as well. So only marriage oriented women. So when these marriage oriented Filipinas are dating, they're expecting to be courted. That's basically a time wherein the whether a Filipino or a foreigner would show their dedication to the woman before being in a relationship with her. So on average, there is a 6 to 12 months courtship period. It's not true for everybody. Sometimes when you can meet like a woman who is so in love with a foreigner that it will just even happen in 24 hours, 1 week or 1 month, right? But we're talking about the expectation here that if you would like to come here and like marry a Filipina and you find like a decent, educated, and like a marriage oriented Filipina, there's an expectation that you will court her. So courtship, this is not a phase wherein you are already in a relationship. This is the phase wherein you have to prove yourself not only to the woman, but also to her family and to her friends, because family approval is a big thing here, especially when it comes to marriage. So I understand that in other cultures, all you have to do is just win the heart of the woman that you love, right? But in the Philippines, you don't only have to win the heart of the woman, you also have to win the heart of the mother, the father, the siblings, and even their friends. Because if it's the mother and the father, or the siblings and the friends tell the woman, oh, say yes to the man already because he is a good man, then we are heavily influenced by the opinion of our family. So it's like a collective decision making process, and the approval from family is very important. Also, 86% of Filipinos identify themselves as Catholic, Christian. So this also affects the dating values. Like there is an expectation that, hey, you have to give the man a hard time first. Let them woo you before you say yes. So that has been inculcated in our mind ever since, like since birth. And that thinking that if they don't work hard to win our heart, then they will let go of the relationship easily. So these are just some conditioning that we've had since birth. So again, what are the examples of like the courtship culture? Traditionally, we used to have serenade wherein a man would bring his friends and bring like guitar and play a music and sing outside of our house. But right now, the modern courtship that's happening is there's still expectation for a man to be chivalrous and gentleman, like offering gifts, sometimes making grand gestures, bringing flowers, not only for the woman, but also bring flowers to the parents, which I do believe the Western culture also do. But sometimes here it's a little bit exaggerated in a sense that it's not a, oh, that's so nice, he did it. It's actually already an expectation. And also like dining out, you don't just dine out the woman that you like. Sometimes like you'd have to dine out with the whole family, and it's crazy because usually Filipino families does not only include moms and dads, that includes extended family members. Also, another modern example of courtship or making ligaw is like learning the Tagalog language. Like Filipinas do get impressed when the foreigner is trying their best to learn the local language and all that. So 43% of Filipino singles, they still, even if they're already living, like leaning towards that modern life, adapting with some of the Western cultures and tradition, they still expect the traditional courtship gestures from their suitor. And then, by the way, suitor is the one wooing the woman. 80% of Filipinos as well believe that family approval is crucial before entering a committed relationship. Again, we are talking about Filipino women who are marriage oriented, just to set the context of the case. So this is the second concept, which is learning how to make liga or how to court a woman. So, in a nutshell, we have briefly discussed three idiosyncrasies, such as number one, family plays a big role in relationships. Many single Filipinos often consider their family's approval, especially the mom. Filipino dating tends to be slower compared to other cultures as well, because sometimes we make it a family event. We need the vetting is not only the woman's decision but also the decision of the family, and there's an expectation to be courted. And despite modern developments, there's still a few conservative practices and religious involvement, because 60% of Filipinas report they have a preference towards somebody who shares their religious belief. So there's like a big point if they're also Catholic or Christian, just because a lot of us were raised Catholic and Christians. No? But the good thing here, that's why it's Philippines is like a good place to date, because at an early age, family life has been cultivated already. Like we were like personally, I think I was 10 or 12 that we were already told that, like the ultimate, not actually told, but we've seen it's like the ultimate goal is to find the love of your life and live happily ever after. And so many of us are open to relocating for love, even if they're doing like well in their profession. I've seen doctors, lawyers who have left their profession to be with their foreigner mate, because the goal for many Filipinos is like they want to start or have a family. So there's this quote that one of my clients said when she was asked to relocate overseas. She said, Coach V, there's nothing I would not do for love. So she did leave her career in the Philippines. But also, one of the reasons why foreigners also find love in the Philippines, because they're able to experience like traditional values, not entirely, because there's also a lot of women here who has been like westernized already. So you have a mix of traditional values and modern romance. So these are just some of the reasons that our Western clients have noted while why they are coming here to date and find their wife. So they said they want to find somebody family oriented values. There's less language barrier because even our vendors speak in English, not perfect English, but they would understand you if you come here. Affection and acts of service. Again, this is not everybody, but it's just natural, holding hands, leaning on their shoulders. Like it's just, we've kind of grew up seeing this. And so a lot of Filipinas are just doing this naturally. Femininity as well, even if there's also a rise of strong independent women here, rise of like female boss, CEOs, there's also like a big influence of maintaining that femininity, because we always have our grandparents and our mothers kind of holding a stick and telling us to serve your serve your husband, don't give them a hard time, something like that. So they balance us, they balance kind of like the masculine parts of us. And the Filipina charm, as they say, these are just four of the Miss Universe who are coming from the Philippines. The America has more Miss Universe, but the reason why I included this is some of the reasons why they say they're coming here to date is because of how the Filipinas look as well, and how kind of like they're saying that they age gracefully, and they also kind of look better even if like they're basically aging gracefully. That's what they're saying. But here are also challenges when dating in the Philippines. Foreigners may struggle to understand the importance of courtship and the family involvement. I do understand that for some foreigners, it might get overwhelming. It might also be construed as gold digging, because if you invite a woman on a date and then she like brings her whole family, they'll be like, oh, why did your whole family come out? Like, do they want to eat, that's why? Or maybe it's just a cultural thing that, hey, I'm going out on a date, I'd like you to meet the man that I'm dating. So there's a lot of fine line between those like scenarios, but this is a challenge because a lot of other culture is not used to this, big family thing. Economic factors as well. 45% of Filipinas cite financial stability, of course, a significant factor when choosing a partner, reflecting the economic disparity that affects dating dynamics. So there's this notion that dating a foreign man will improve their social economic status than dating a Filipino, which we have heard many times before, right? So, and then there's also an expectation to help family and extended relatives. For those who are married to Filipinas, they may have heard already that although we are not required to do it, there's a lot of like daughters who are making supporting their family a priority. So it's just very cultural. And so when you love a Filipina, you can't stop yourself but also help her because she's helping like a lot of other family members. So this has also become a challenge for in interracial dating because there's a lot of explanation, communication that needs to be done. And lastly, cases of fraud and love scam. Not everybody here is finding true love. There are also cases in the past wherein foreigners have been taken advantage of as well. So that's like one thing that we have to brief our clients when they go travel, to filter the people that they're seeing well, make sure that you do their proper like background checking and character checking, of course, and never send money to strangers. Okay, we're almost done. So I'd like to share with you my mission in our company, Singles Events Manila. So I'd like to challenge the stereotype that Filipinas seek foreign partners solely for financial gains or visas. And of course, generations, like many years, this has always been the stigma when you see like a Filipina and a foreign man, right? But I'm glad that this is already changing. And my company also is like trying to be at the forefront of connecting foreign men with successful Filipinas. Like there's so many like beautiful, successful like people like Filipina genuinely looking for love, and that is our market. Those are the type of people that we match with our clients. So we would like to avoid love scams by connecting them with only genuine, successful Filipinas who are truly looking for love. These are the Filipinas who don't really need support in terms of finances because they already have their finances laid out, but they really want to find somebody, whether in the Philippines or overseas. And of course, it wouldn't hurt also to admit that there's a desire to find love with Westerners, because some of our beauty queens are often half. It's like half Filipina, half other race. So we feel like the genetics is stronger, and also they're cuter. So based on ours. So I'd like to briefly share with you before we end a case study. So this is actually a profile of my client. So he's a young entrepreneur, 35 years old, has the capacity to travel all around the world, work remotely, and he was actually on a worldwide search for his wife. So he hired a matchmaker in at least 3 or 5 countries. So I know that he had hired a matchmaker in America, in Thailand, in 3 other countries, because in his mind, like he said, I was able to figure out how to make money at an early age, that my focus right now is just finding my wife. So that's what he was telling me when I was interviewing him before we've accepted him as a client. And what is he looking for? He was on his 30s, so he's looking for somebody who still want to have children. So somebody on their 20s, has traditional family values, has an active lifestyle like him, willing to relocate for love, would like to have children, agreeable and cooperative, in touch with her femininity, somebody who's compatible with him and brings peace and calmness. So, what he's looking for is actually very typical for our Western clients coming to us to find a wife in the Philippines. And so I also have here one of the women in our database. She's 28 years old. She's actually a celebrity, a reality TV star, a very hardworking woman, does content creation, runs business on the side. And she came to me because she said she was having difficulty finding real love because she doesn't know if men are dating her for her status or men are dating her for love. So she was also having a hard time finding real love in the Philippines. She said here, I'm a celebrity content creator in the Philippines. She was talking about her first experience through our matchmaking service. At the end, she said, we had a great dinner. Coach V gave me a secret advice beforehand. The guy even flew here to meet me, which is a big plus. So you see, like, which was a big plus, like they really like the feeling that like there's an effort being injected to seeing them. I'm excited about our connection. Thank you, Coach V, for arranging our date. So basically, he was 35, she was 28. We've connected this. So this was them. He was an American on a worldwide search. She's actually a reservist. So even if she's a celebrity, she's trained for the military and then had that formal training. So this was them. Okay, so a successful, beautiful, fit Filipina woman who's genuinely wanting to find love, and another equally fit, successful man wanting to relocate to Asia. I remember a week before I have introduced them together, he said, Coach V, I'm finally choosing the Philippines as my base. And I was like, why choose the Philippines? You have all the options in the world to go anywhere, because he could work remotely. And then he said, because I like the matches that you're sending me. And then I said, okay, then good. It's the dates will become much faster now that you are in the Philippines. And then after 1 week, they've met. And now they're like stronger than ever. So this is just one of our recent success stories. So my call will be, if you have, for the matchmakers, if you have clients who couldn't find successful matches in your parts of the world, and if they're open to dating in Asia and the Philippines, send them to me. Let's see if we can find them the love of their life in this part of the world. So I am on LinkedIn. I'm Vanessa Antonio. I'm a matchmaker, dating coach, and I also do consultation for dating app companies as well as interracial dating. So these are my social media. So if you have questions, happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, V. Well done. I have a question for you from Radha Patel. She asks, how do you market slash find your foreign bachelors? How do you find the fellows?
So in the past, because I took my certification course in 2019, so we've been doing the matchmaking really for about 4 or 5 years now. We have not marketed our service, not until 2 weeks ago. So usually they find us. They just
Mm.
search matchmaker in the Philippines or dating a singles event in the Philippines, and 99% of my clients were going through our, they just sent us an email. So I have not taken that route of marketing, but 2 weeks ago we started advertising on Facebook. And then we'll do more marketing events in the future, because there are AFAM, or there are foreign communities here that we're planning to tap
Mhm.
to let them know that, hey, we have a legit matchmaking agency, not like a bride to sell or sell bride service, mail order bride, something like that. So yeah, so we're just starting our marketing as well.
And Anthony, Professor Pratkanis, asks, what are your cues you use for spotting a romance fraud?
Can you say that again, Sir Mark?
What are the cues you use? How do you spot potential romance fraud?
Correct. So we have what we call like our like gold digger filter, wherein we basically just, we have a long intake form wherein we learn about that person's current status in life, background, family background is a big plus, and of course their current source of income, so that's also a big part. I have not recommended any match to my clients that I have not met personally, so I
Mm.
make it a point to really go out and socialize once or twice a week, because I that's how I source my matches. Like, I meet them personally, I know their vibe, and I look at the people that they follow on social media, because I do believe the affiliation is very strong. Like, if they are in this industry, there's a high chance that if they're very well connected, that they're also kind of like in a certain industry, if you know what I mean.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Vanessa Panes, you're the founder of Events Manila. Thank you very much for your presentation today and an overview, cultural insights overview of matchmaking and premium international dating matchmaking. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you everyone for your support. I look forward to collaborating with you here in the United States.
And we'll continue the networking for as long as you want. Well, we've got 16 people around still, so do jump onto a table if you'd like to meet anybody. If you had a chat with somebody and want to connect with them, please email me, and it would be my pleasure to introduce you to them.